Hi, my name is Candace.
And I'm Jordan.
And welcome to Good Evening KU. Well, we thought we'd start our show talking about midterms, which I'm sure everybody is going through right now.
And some people probably a little worse than others.
Absolutely.
For example, I have 2 midterms. How many do you have?
Well, I technically had 5. I had 1 last week and 4 this week. So
that's rough.
It's a little intense right now.
I have a hard time studying for 2. I don't know how
this
to
is
study for 5.
Definitely my worst semester of midterms, probably the most I've ever had.
Which one would you say was the hardest?
Probably.
Or will you be the hardest?
Well, Spanish. Spanish was really difficult for me just because I don't really know how to speak Spanish, but you know, I try.
So you already took it?
Yes, I took it yesterday, last night.
What level are you in?
212.
Okay, that's the level I'm in.
Okay.
So now you've got me a little nervous.
Study. That's all I'm going to say.
Study?
If you study, I think that you should be good.
Okay.
Don't go into it with like a blind eye.
Okay, I will take your advice.
Awesome.
But when we finish midterms, it will be spring break.
Absolutely.
So that's a little more positive note, maybe.
Lighter note, definitely. Any plans?
I'm going to Phoenix. My mom is a big traveler. Any opportunity she gets, we have to go somewhere. So we're doing that. What about you?
Well, all my friends are going off to Miami and cool places, but I'm going to be here in Kansas City. So I'm looking forward to that. I mean, I get a whole week of like not setting an alarm. So like I don't have to work, I don't have to do anything except for just like sleep, Netflix, pizza.
And that's a good spring break. You
Absolutely.
Don't have to go anywhere to have a good spring break.
Absolutely.
You know? Not setting your alarm is, even if you don't do anything.
It's
not
still
setting
a break.
an alarm.
It's a break.
Right. Well, when we come back, we will be joined by the general manager of Hawks Point Apartments to talk about their offerings if you're looking for a place for next year. Stay with us.
What do you mean? What do you mean my mocha's not here? I'm Ben Allen, seriously. What about here? Is that better? Oh, now my arm's disappearing. Obviously, this is even worse. Make sure you tweet at us at 3InKey on Twitter. I don't know where else you would tweet at us, but you should do that because I'm lonely and I need friends. Please follow me, Ben Allen Sports. It'll make your day better. Probably not. It'll make mine better though. Literally. I'm back again on Good Morning KU for 3 weeks. I'm going to be coming in, analyzing those teams, telling you what you need to know and why you need to know it. Because I know things. We're going on a trip and our favorite rocket ship. Follow me on that Twitter thing, Ben Allen Sports. So March Madness is coming up. Why am I wearing a Ravens shirt? Because I am a loser. Signing off. Konnichiwa. I'm back.
Welcome back. I'm joined now by Teddy Abdelmalik, who is the general manager of Hawks Point Apartments. Students have a lot of options when they're looking for apartments. Tell us, we'll get into pricings and kind of options, but first of all, what you think sets Hawks Point apart?
You know, Hawks Point Apartments is more than just a place where you eat and sleep. It's about your total educational experience. We offer student programming, a really great staff offering as well. Our staff and our management is one that's indicative of ensuring that, you know, the entire reason that you're here is to succeed at KU, and we support that educational experience.
Okay, what are some of those student offerings?
So we have a fitness center, obviously, health and wellness. We have a study room. We have a 24-hour computer lab. But then we have students that live at our property that are able to mentor through some of the same classes that our students may be going through.
Gotcha.
Yeah.
Now there's a few different locations that are Hawks Point Apartments,
Correct.
right? Tell us where those are at.
So where the main office is, that's Hawks Point 1. And then Hawks Point 2 is located off of 10th and Arkansas. And then Hawks Point 3, as everyone knows, is right next to the Oriad Hotel.
Okay. And what are the options as far as, do you start at a studio and how many bedrooms can you go up to?
So we have all floor plans available. We have anywhere from a studio to a 1-bedroom all the way up to a 4-bedroom apartment. And you'll see that the characteristics are that we have all of those options at all 3 locations.
Oh, really? Yeah. Great. So as far as pricing, what are kind of your ranges?
So yeah, you know, pricing as it relates to like studio to a 4-bedroom, it can range anywhere between, you know, low 500s all the way up to, you know, higher 1700s depending on, you know, the size of the apartment. But we have some really great specials going on right now. We're waiving our application fee, we're waiving our security deposit, so it really allows our students and our constituents to really be able to be a part of our community. And right now we're also offering like a signing bonus through the end of March.
Okay.
So it's a $350 signing bonus whenever you sign your lease. Then we have this great spin the wheel campaign going on right now. You're able to win like a 55-inch TV, and you're guaranteed to win something on the wheel.
Okay, that's awesome. So how do students get more information or get in contact with you guys?
Yeah, they can go to hawkspointapts.com or visit us at our 7th Street location. We're open 7 days a week.
Where on 7th Street?
You know where 6th and Michigan is? Right there, Hawks Point 1.
Okay, well, great. When we come back, Bella Without Borders. We'll be right back.
Where you go to college makes a statement about you. This place will become a part of you, your identity for life. The University of Kansas, a great place to be you.
Welcome back to Bella Without Borders. I'm here today with Leena to talk a little bit about fashion in the Middle East. Leena, how are you?
Good, how are you?
I'm doing well, thanks. So tell me about yourself.
Okay, so I am half American, half white American. My mom is the American, and my dad is Palestinian, so I'm a hybrid. And I've been living here my entire life. I'm 20 years old. I'm a student at the University of Kansas.
So I wanted to have the audience learn a little bit about the different veils and scarves that Muslim women wear. So I know that there's the hijab and there's the burqa and the chador and chador. Yeah. So there's a little, obviously there's some confusion between the two, you know, people who don't know. So can you explain those?
Well, first and foremost, hijab is the Arabic word for veil, and it's meant for Muslim women, and it's obligated for Muslim women to wear this veil in front of strangers, and strangers being people that are kind of outside of our family.
So can you talk a little bit, I know you mentioned, you know, what the hijab is, but can you talk a little bit, you know, when does a woman choose to wear one, and you know, a little bit about the choices that she has?
Well, it's a very nice thing to know, and most women don't know this, is that there's a chapter in the Quran called An-Nur, which translates into the light. And so it was when one of the first verses of hijab was revealed to Muslims. And it basically talks about how hijab is so beautiful for women to wear. It's an outward display of their inward spirituality. And it's such a nice thing to know, and it's such a nice thing to emphasize, you know, to Muslim women and to women who aren't Muslim, and, you know, just to the general public as well. And
yeah, not just women, you know, men too. Not a lot of people don't know. Yeah,
of course. And you know, hijab, it has a different connotation to everybody. For example, hijab has a different definition for other women. You know, they express themselves differently, but as long as they stay within, you know, the just basically general covering and stuff, they are allowed to express themselves in any way that they can, and it's unique to every individual.
We were talking a little bit about before, just to tell our audience that, you know, I met this woman, and she was telling me that, you know, her story was different, that, you know, she's older and she only started wearing it 5 years ago. So it's interesting how she chose to wear it then, you know, after she went to Hajj. So, you know, people do it, or, you know, I know another friend who started it, you know, beginning of high school. So it's just interesting that some people do it earlier, some people do it later, and like you said, everyone has a different story with it.
And, you know, people have different experiences. It's a different experience for everybody in general. And it really depends on a person's, you know, temperance and whether or not they're able to endure such a, you know, it's a challenge. It's a challenge for a lot of, it is a very big step, especially in a society like this. A society like this that values when women kind of like to show off their bodies and stuff. And I'm not trying to, you know, say that those women aren't beautiful. Of course they are. But I really want to emphasize the importance over, you know, hijab, and as Hawaii women wear it, hold the women to wear this in convenience for the women, not for the men. And that is a really big misconception to the society.
I definitely agree. Another thing I wanted to talk about was kind of, you mentioned how in Iran or in Afghanistan, you know, they wear different veils or scarves.
Right.
So what is the difference, or, you know, how does culture play a role into that?
Well, you know, human beings kind of construct the way that we live in society. We create normalities, we create abnormalities, and so over the course of years, you know, people have influenced other people, just like the Western society has influenced, you know, overseas, and traditions, and just the clothing, fashion sense, and everything. And it's kind of, it really depends on if you take it as a melting pot or like a mixed salad bowl. So like, you know, whenever you go somewhere, you tend to see differences within the hijab and how it's worn. It really depends on personal preference. But again, it's there's just different kinds of rulings. For example, in Iran, I know that there's a ruling where women must wear the scarf over their head just out of respect. But I feel like what a lot of people fail to acknowledge is like, well, those women, they wear the hijab and, you know, they're probably so oppressed. Well, let's not fail to recognize that in, you know, 1979, a lot of women, they were very empowered and they started attending universities, and, you know, more than 60% of, you know, women over in Iran, they attend universities, they are educated, and
like we were talking about Malala.
Yeah, yes, Malala, the Nobel Peace Prize winner. Yeah, she's all for education, and so am I, and like she's wonderful.
Another thing to tell our audience is when people see a woman, you know, a woman wear a hijab or a burqa or, you know, whatever it may be, they always just say Islam, you know, right? They always say, you know, she's Muslim or she's Arab, and, you know, they put all these, you know, labels on them, and that's not necessarily true. So can you talk about, like, you know, what those labels and what it really means to you? And it's not, you know, you don't do it just because this, and this. You do it, you know, for X, Y, and Z.
Yeah, people do have a tendency, you know, to label us as oppressed, or they automatically just assume that every Muslim woman is going to wear a burqa or a niqab. And honestly, mostly women, people look like me. Like, they see me, they see us dressed just like me. It really just depends.
Before we wrap things up, is there anything else you wanted to add, or we covered everything, I think.
So, but I just basically want people to look at me like I'm a normal human being, you know.
You are.
Thank you. I just want people to value me and value every woman on this earth as beautiful, and I want them to value her beauty, her intellect, her moral character, just her soul in general. And so that's just what basically the hijab tries to emphasize on women.
I think you did a great job putting it all into one. Thank you for sharing with me and the audience your message. That will wrap up Bella Without Borders.
And this is your Wednesday Good Evening KU News Update. 2 students at the University of Oklahoma were expelled early Tuesday morning after the release of a racist video. According to CNN.com, the students took a leadership role in the racist chanting from OU's Sigma Alpha Epsilon fraternity. Oklahoma President David Boren said the chapter has been disbanded.
A New York man was apprehended after police alleged that he pointed lasers at a police helicopter and airplanes Tuesday morning. According to NBCNewYork.com, the NYPD's aviation unit spotted Frank Egan pointing the lasers at pilots' eyes from the apartment near LaGuardia Airport. Police officers searched the apartment and found a laser device on top of the refrigerator.
Lawrence City Commissioners are considering a new ordinance that would require criminal background checks for taxi cab drivers. According to the Lawrence Journal World, the ordinance would give the city the right to deny driver applications for anyone who has a felony conviction or DUI in the last 5 years.
The Phillips 66 Big 12 men's basketball tournament begins tonight in Kansas City. The 8th-seeded Kansas State Wildcats will face the 9th-seeded TCU Horned Frogs at 6 p.m., and the 7th-seeded Texas Longhorns will take on the 10th-seeded Texas Tech Red Raiders at 8 p.m. The Jayhawks will play the winner of the K-State TCU game Thursday afternoon at 1:30.
And let's hit the field now, where the Kansas baseball team fell to the Central Michigan Chippewas 8-2 Tuesday afternoon. Adam Aldred was the winning pitcher on Central Michigan, while Hayden Edwards picked up the loss for Kansas, making his season record 1-2. The Jayhawks have now lost 3 home games in a row, dropping their overall record to 6-11. And that'll wrap it up for today's news update. Coming up next, we'll have Pages Points.
Welcome back. I'm Paige Admany, and this is another edition of Pages Points. You know it, you love it, and you see it everywhere. Yes, KU is not the same place without the Jayhawk. But how did this mythical bird become our representative? The term Jayhawk likely came about in 1848 by combining 2 birds native to the Midwest. The blue jay, a quarrelsome bird known to rob other nests, and the sparrowhawk, a crafty hunter. Jayhawkers were synonymous with the Free State, Kansas, during the Civil War, and the name became a patriotic symbol. By the end of the war, the Jayhawk became a part of Kansan culture, and in 1886, the bird appeared in the famous Rock Chalk chant. It seemed only natural then to call the football team the Jayhawkers when the team formed in 1890. But the image of what a Jayhawk actually looked like came into question when finally Henry Malloy, a cartoonist for the University Daily Kansan, gave it an attempt in 1912. He drew the smiling mythical bird colored in blue and gave it shoes for kicking opponents. Since its 1912 design, the Jayhawk has changed a number of times throughout history. By 1920, a more somber-looking Jayhawk appeared, perching on the KU monogram. And in 1923, Jimmy O'Brien and George Hollingberry changed the design to feature a duck-like Jayhawk. The 1929 Jayhawk, designed by Forrestal Calvin, had a more aggressive look with talons and a grim face. Gene Yogi Williams followed this design in 1941 by opening the Jayhawk's eyes and giving it a similar, challenging look. Finally, in 1946, the smiling Jayhawk we know and love today was designed by Harold D. Sandy. Now you can find different designs and variations of the Jayhawk, such as the fiberglass hawks seen around Lawrence and campus. And for years, you could see a costume Jayhawk at football and basketball games until 1971, when Baby J was introduced. The beloved duo have been a part of KU games ever since. The 1912 Jayhawk even made an appearance during the 2012 athletic season named Centennial J, or simply CJ, in honor of the Jayhawks' 100 years at KU. That's all for Pages Points. Be sure to follow Media Crossroads on Twitter, Snapchat, and Instagram for daily updates and behind-the-scenes action. This has been another episode of Good Evening KU. Thanks for watching. Be sure to tune in to Good Morning KU tomorrow at 10.